Okay, so get this. Today we're diving into AI that can actually use computers, just like we do.
Really?
Yeah, like clicking, typing, browsing, the whole nine yards.
Wow.
It's not just about chatbots anymore. This is about AI that can tackle really complex tasks.
Sounds pretty intense.
It is. We've got some really interesting articles from PYMNTS and CNBC and even Anthropic's own blog post all about it.
Okay, so what's the big deal here? What's so groundbreaking about this new development?
It's a huge shift, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing AI go from just responding to our requests to actually taking initiative and completing tasks independently.
So it's not just waiting for instructions, it's figuring things out on its own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the company behind this is called Anthropic, and they call it computer use capability for their AI, Claude.
Okay, so how does this computer use thing actually work? I mean, how is it different from other AI we've seen before?
Well, unlike other AI that could only respond to text prompts,
Right.
Claude can actually understand what it sees on a screen, like visually, and interact with it just like you or I would.
Wait, really? So it can see what's on the screen and like click buttons and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. I know, it's
What?
pretty wild, right?
Yeah, that's pretty mind-blowing. Do
Yeah.
you have like an example of what it can actually do?
Yeah, for sure. The PYMNTS article gave this really cool example where Claude actually planned a morning hike, near the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Whoa, hold on. So it like went online and found a trail and everything.
Yeah, it found trails online, checked sunrise times, even made calendar invites with suggestions for what to wear.
That's incredible.
I know, right? So it really shows how this technology goes beyond simple actions on a computer. It's demonstrating an ability to understand context and plan and execute complex tasks.
Okay, so you're saying this isn't just like, opening a file or sending an email. It's actually understanding what it's doing and making decisions based on that understanding.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so groundbreaking. It's like having a superpowered digital assistant that can actually get things done for you, you know, booking flights, writing reports, maybe even designing websites.
Wow, so it's almost like having a personal assistant that actually lives inside your computer.
Kinda. But what makes Anthropic's approach unique is that Claude learns by watching how we use the computer.
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of being programmed with specific instructions for every task, it's picking up on patterns and learning to generalize.
Exactly. It's almost like an apprentice, learning
Uh,
from a master craftsman. It's not being told exactly what to do every step of the way. It's learning to figure things out on its own, which is just
Right.
incredible, right?
Yeah, that is pretty remarkable. And so is this all still in the research phase, or are there actual like real world applications for this technology already?
Actually, there are companies already using it. Companies like Canva, Asana, and Replit are already using this for things like graphic design, project management, and even coding.
Wow, so it's not just a theoretical concept. Businesses are actually integrating this into their workflows. That's amazing.
It is. So now that we've kind of seen what Anthropic's AI can do, I think it'd be interesting to explore how it's actually being used by companies in the real world.
Mhm.
What stands out to you from these articles about how businesses are using this technology?
Well, one thing that I find really fascinating is how companies are using this to streamline all sorts of tasks. Like, think about it. Imagine being able to delegate things like scheduling appointments or filling out all those, like, tedious online forms to an AI.
Tell me about it. I hate filling out forms.
Right, it's a total time suck. And the CNBC article even suggests that consumers could use this for, booking flights, scheduling appointments, filling out those dreaded online forms, basically, like anything and everything we do on our computers these days.
That's just mind-blowing. Talk about a time saver, right? But I do wonder, where does this fit into the whole AI landscape? You mentioned AI agents earlier. Can you unpack that a little more? What exactly are they?
Sure. So AI agents, you can think of them as kind of a natural evolution from chatbots. They're designed to be more proactive and more goal-oriented.
Okay, so they're not just passively responding to queries anymore. They're actually taking action.
Right. It's like instead of just answering your questions, AI agents can take actions to achieve specific goals. It's like having a personal assistant, but like a really, really efficient one that actually gets things done.
So I can see why people are making those comparisons to JARVS from Iron Man,
Yeah.
like a super intelligent AI running our lives.
Yeah. Although, I mean, we're not quite at the level of a super intelligent AI running an entire suit of armor yet.
Not yet, but who knows what the future holds.
Exactly. But the comparison to JRVIS, it does highlight the potential of AI agents to become these like powerful tools that augment our
It's
capabilities.
giving us superpowers almost.
Yeah, in a way. And it seems like investors are definitely catching on to this. The CNBC article mentioned that there's a growing interest in AI agent startups.
Oh, for sure. This really feels like a rapidly developing field, doesn't it? Like everyone's trying to get in on the action.
It really does. And Anthropic is right there in the thick of it, competing with giants like OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft.
And speaking of Anthropic, it's worth noting that they were founded by former OpenAI executives, and now they're backed by Amazon, so they've got some serious, firepower behind them.
They do. They definitely have the resources to make some big waves in this space. It sounds like they're aiming pretty high with this technology, too.
They are. Besides this computer use capability, they also have products like Claude Enterprise, which is a platform designed specifically for businesses, and something called Artifacts, which allows users to, interact with Claude's creations in a more visual way.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right. It's not just about this one specific capability. It's about creating a whole suite of tools and products that can leverage AI in different ways.
That makes sense. And, it's great to get excited about all the possibilities here, but we
Well,
also have to be realistic, right? Like, there have to be some limitations to this technology, right? It can't be all sunshine and roses.
oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, every new technology has its, growing pains. The PYMNTS article mentioned that Claude still struggles with some basic computer actions, like scrolling and zooming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like, you'd think those would be the easy things.
Yeah, you'd think so. But I guess it just goes to show that this technology is still in its early stages of development. There's still a lot of learning and refining to be done.
Exactly, still learning. But what about the safety aspect? I can't help but think about the potential risks of letting an AI loose on my computer. Like, what if it goes rogue and starts doing things I don't want it to do?
That's a totally valid concern, but Anthropic is actually very aware of those risks, and they've implemented several safeguards. For example, Claude has restrictions on accessing social media, creating accounts, and interacting with government websites. Oh, okay. That makes me feel a little better. It sounds like they're taking a responsible approach to making sure this technology doesn't get out of hand.
They are. And on top of those restrictions, developers can actually add human oversight requirements and limit when Claude can access a user's computer.
So they're putting some careful controls in place.
Exactly. They're really trying to strike a balance between, pushing the boundaries of innovation and ensuring that it's done safely and responsibly.
So it's like, yeah, they're excited about the possibilities, but they're also aware of the potential dangers, and they're trying to mitigate those risks as much as possible.
Exactly. And I think that's really important. As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, these safety measures become absolutely crucial.
Hmm.
We can't just blindly trust this technology. We need to make sure it's being developed and used in a way that benefits humanity as a whole. Absolutely. It seems like we're at this really interesting point where, the possibilities are incredibly exciting, but we also need to proceed with caution, right? Like, we don't want to rush into something without fully understanding the potential consequences.
I agree. And that brings us to a really crucial question I'd like to pose to you. If AI can already plan a hike, what tasks can you imagine delegating to an AI agent in the future? Like, what are some things you'd actually love to hand off to an AI that can use computers just like you can?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. So many things. But just thinking off the top of my head, I would love for an AI to, handle all my email for me,
Oh, yeah.
schedule all my meetings,
I hear you.
maybe even, help me with research and stuff.
Yeah.
Think about all the time that would free up.
Right. It would be amazing to have all that extra time to focus on more creative or strategic work.
Totally.
And it's not even just about convenience, right? This technology could also really empower people with disabilities.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Help them navigate the digital world.
Absolutely.
It could automate super complex tasks in industries like healthcare or finance.
I hadn't even thought about that.
It could even potentially lead to scientific breakthroughs that we can't even imagine yet.
That's where it gets really interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about taking over the things we don't want to do.
Right.
It's about, expanding what's possible.
Precisely. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not necessarily replacing them.
Right.
This technology really does have the potential to completely revolutionize how we work and live.
Okay, so we've talked about the what and the why of this whole AI thing,
Hmm.
but I'm also curious about the how. Anthropic mentions these new Claude 3.5 models in their blog post.
Yeah.
What's the significance of those? Like, what do they actually do?
Okay, so basically, those are kind of like the brains behind this whole operation. So you've got Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and that's the specific model that's powering the computer use capability. That's the one that's designed for those like really complex tasks. And it's the one that's been showing like really impressive results, especially in coding and using various software tools.
That makes sense. And then they mentioned another model, Claude 3.5 Haiku.
Yeah.
What's that one all about?
No, haiku is interesting. So it's all about speed and efficiency.
Got it.
Like it's designed to be faster and more affordable, which makes it really suitable for tasks that require, quick responses or for processing like huge volumes of data.
So Sonnet is the powerhouse, and Haiku is the speed demon. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But, with all this talk about AI advancements, it's easy to get like really caught up in the hype.
For sure.
Like all the amazing things AI can do.
Yeah.
What do you think we should, like, as informed listeners, be keeping in mind as we're kind of like navigating this new landscape? What should we be cautious of?
That's a great question. I think it's crucial to remember that, like, this technology is still very much evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, there will be bumps in the road.
For sure.
There will be unexpected challenges.
Yeah.
And we need to approach all of this with, like, a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking.
Right. Like, don't just believe everything you hear.
Exactly. Don't believe all the hype.
Yeah.
Question things.
For sure.
Be critical. What else do you think?
Well, I also think we need to be really mindful of the potential impact on, jobs in the workforce. As AI becomes more capable, certain tasks that like used to be performed by humans might become automated.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And this could like lead to job displacement in some sectors.
That's a valid concern. It's the classic case of like disruption, right? It's happening whether we like it or not. So the key is to like adapt and prepare for the changes that are coming.
I think that's a great way to put it. And that's where I think, education and upskilling become like super important.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Like we need to equip ourselves with the knowledge and the skills to like actually thrive in this, rapidly changing technological landscape.
So to bring it all back to our listener, the person who's been like absorbing all this information, what would you say is like the main takeaway here? Like, what's the big picture?
I think the main takeaway is that we are like literally witnessing a pivotal moment in the evolution of artificial intelligence.
It's pretty crazy when you think about it, right?
It is like AI that can actually use computers just like humans can. It's no longer like this thing of science fiction. It's here, it's real, and it's going to have like a huge impact on our lives in ways that we're only just beginning to understand.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting.
It definitely is. But, like with any powerful technology, it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we choose to use it.
Exactly. And that's where, like, you, the listener, actually come in. You have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Like, stay informed, engage in critical thinking, and voice your opinions. The decisions we make today are going to determine the kind of world we create tomorrow.
So while AI may be able to, like, plan a hike, it's ultimately up to us to decide where we want to go.
Just beautifully put. And, just think about it. Like, a few years ago, most people hadn't even heard of AI chatbots.
Right.
And now we're talking about AI that can use computers just like we do. Like, what will the next few years bring? It's insane to think about.
That's the big question, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the unknown, the possibilities, the potential for AI to, like, completely reshape our world. That's what makes this whole field so captivating.
Absolutely. It's like it's a journey of discovery, and we're all along for the ride. So stay curious, stay engaged, and just keep exploring this crazy, ever-evolving world of artificial intelligence.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.